Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode. It's been a while. I'm gonna get you some water because it's really hot outside and we need to stay hydrated. Put it down here. Okay. So today we're sitting in a forest in the city where I grew up, and I'm showing Thijs around. And now we're in this kind of like, how do we call this? Indian hut thing. So we're gonna have a conversation here.
First Nation people.
Yeah.
Yes. Today,
We're
triggers.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is something that affects us every day, and triggers are mood swings.
Yep.
Enjoyable. I've been triggered how many times today? I probably lost count. Like, that's real. That's just how triggers happen.
True. Some are a lot more frequent than others.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it depends on the severity, of course. But what's your main kind of triggers? What are your main triggers?
I think, okay, so everyone has different triggers. And how do we explain it? I think we should explain what triggers are first, maybe.
Yes. Very good point.
So I guess triggers are right. Yeah, it's something that builds up in you. I guess when you're stuck in a situation that makes you feel powerless or makes you feel
out of control,
yeah. Or hopeless or whatever, or gives you some kind of strong emotion.
Yeah.
Every time you get put in that situation over and over again, it begins to become a trigger. Every time you feel like you're stuck in a situation like that.
Exactly.
That's how triggers are built up, and it can come from a lot of different situations. A lot of our triggers came from our youth and how we were treated. I think that's for how it worked for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it can also just, triggers can happen through your whole life. They can come up, and you're gonna have new triggers, and triggers can also sometimes disappear.
Yes, very true.
And it's just yeah. But most of ours are definitely, I think, from our youth. A lot of them at least.
Yeah. I've noticed with triggers as well that they tend to, trigger a very strong emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also noticed that triggers usually happen, like we said before, in situations where where I feel I don't have control, or it takes me back to a situation where I wasn't safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
So
you told us, you were telling us about that you had a lot of triggers today.
Yeah.
Wanna share what happened?
Okay.
I was there.
For one of them.
For all of them.
So this morning I had some, but I forgot about them already because that happens for first too. Especially if we forget about them because they happen so often for us.
Yes.
But today it took us like a few hours to get to this place because we were looking for a place to film our podcast.
Yeah.
And I found this nature area, which is like this lakes and forest and like desert kind of stuff. And it looked really cool. And we're going there, but then the bus didn't work, and we had to walk a long time. And then I was trying to get a shortcut, but that shortcut was blocked eventually. So I got frustrated in my head, and I felt like I was out of control. And then I just like I feel like the whole podcast is not going to work out. I feel like everything's probably going to go wrong the rest of the time. And you can do multiple things. You can accept the fact that you lost control, and you can just go on with how everything is going. So we could have just went on to the nature park and accepted the whole situation. But most of the time when I feel like I'm out of control, I try to change the situation and take control back by doing something completely different sometimes. So now we're in a different place.
Yes.
That's almost how I deal with my triggers. I just try to go to a place where it's completely different and where I just try to escape them, I guess.
Change the scenery.
So, Yeah.
Do you have any idea why that works?
Well, first of all, when I change the scenery, I feel like I take control back because I'm in a different environment. It feels like I can take control over what's happening again. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to step away from the situation where I lost control. I'm going to go somewhere where I can get control and gain control back.
Yeah.
And also, don't be, if you're in a situation that triggers you, it's probably going to keep triggering you if you're in it.
Fair. That's safe to assume.
Yeah, that's with some places, with people. So then sometimes it is better to just get out of their environment so you just can't keep getting triggered by that whole thing over and over again.
True.
So yeah, I would say that.
In our friendship, I've noticed if you want to ask questions as well, please let me know. Like I can be a little, persistent in questions, but in our relationship, I've noticed a few triggers that come up more frequently.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about it?
What about like triggers that you experience or that I experience?
That you experience.
What did you experience? We need to talk about both of them.
Yes.
I'm
next.
You're definitely. So yeah, so in friendships, definitely with people that have like emotional instability, you're probably gonna get triggered a lot. We have different boundaries, we have different needs, we have different expectations, we have different views of things, and that is just definitely gonna make things crash. When things crash, that can also mean that it triggers.
Yep.
Because it feels like things are out of control, and because you don't feel seen, or because not being seen is also a trigger. And there are just a lot of different things like that have affect us. So situations for me, I guess, when I don't feel seen, that's really triggering. When someone's reaction is cold, that's triggering. When someone's avoiding me, it's triggering. And I have a whole list of triggers, honestly. I made a whole list of triggers because I keep adding up to them because I can constantly think of new ones that I experience.
Yeah.
That's
rough.
Yeah. Should we get like an example of a situation that we had or something?
Oh, good one. Yeah, I have one. Okay. Luxembourg.
Oh yeah. How do we start this one?
I can explain it if you want.
Yeah, you could.
So basically, I'm the type of guy on holiday that goes, "Oh, we'll see on the day itself where we'll go," and I'm pretty laid back. I don't really plan anything unless it's absolutely necessary. Sophie's the complete opposite, and whereas I don't need a structure or planning, she does. And there was a day in Luxembourg where we, first of all, somehow the alarms got mixed up or something, and we woke up an hour late. Then
really hot in our tent as well.
Oh my goodness, yes. It was baking.
It was boiling. Oh, it was really bad.
It was like we were being in a sauna.
It was already like 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah,
we were supposed to wake up a lot earlier, and sleep rises fast. So.
And then eventually
we had to wait for a bus for like an hour. So, well, the next bus that we were supposed to get, we weren't gonna make, and the next bus was like it wasn't for like another hour. So. By the time...
Was it that one?
I think so.
I thought it was the day before. And this day, we first went to the supermarket and then got back, decided...
Yeah, that's because we didn't have any time left.
Oh.
Interesting.
I seem to remember the time. Doesn't matter. Anyways.
I thought the day that we woke up late was the same day that we were going to do the first... Wait...
You decided to let me choose the...
Oh, that could be, yeah.
Choose the route we were going to walk. And we didn't really leave until quite late, like 11:30.
Something like that, but then between 12 or something. Which is really late for hiking, in my opinion. But...
Yeah.
We didn't really have a plan yet at that time.
So... Basically, you had a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You see, I had a panic attack. I was getting frustrated. It just wasn't working. But that's because she was getting triggered, and I was getting triggered by the fact that she was triggered. Therefore, it was a vicious cycle.
We should explain our triggers, though.
Yes, fair.
So, because I was firstly triggered because it was heat. We didn't have a plan yet. You were supposed to make a plan, but you were up late talking. I didn't have a plan in the morning, so I didn't know what to expect. I can sometimes handle that, but I also am not always good at handling just a lot of like if your whole day is like empty. Sometimes that kind of stresses me out. And if it's like if I know that we're going to do something, which I wasn't sure of at the time, I just felt like you were so laid back that maybe it was possible that we weren't going to do anything that day. In my head, that's what stressed me out because I was just like, it's possible that we're not going to do anything today, and that, and I always could have just like gone on my own, but I felt like we were responsible on each other because was the one with the key. Um, um, so I guess what triggered me was the fact that I was out of control because things didn't go as planned, and that triggers me. We didn't have a plan yet, so I didn't really know what to expect that whole day. You seemed laid back. In fact, you were laid back and didn't get into it really. That also triggered me kind of because I was just like, "Come on, we need to go do stuff. We need to like figure this out. We need to figure this out right now." And you were just like, "Oh, it's fine. It's chill. We'll get there, eventually." Which it's not always a bad thing for people to have. I think some people really like it when someone's laid back, but I just need someone who also can just like get to it, I guess. And be like, okay, we're just gonna go do this. So I was kind of like freaked out about that, I think, because there were things I wanted to see in the week that we were there, and I didn't feel like we were going to have enough time for it.
We also wanted to film a podcast episode.
Yeah, and I didn't think we were going to have time for podcast episodes.
We made two? Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We made two eventually, exactly. So we made a plane later on, but what triggered me was because I didn't really feel seen, and I didn't feel control. I felt lost in control, so that really freaked me out. And because when I freak out a bit, and then when I get stressed and frustrated, I can lash out a bit, and I think that's what triggered Thijs. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't always have the most stable living situation. And I noticed that because my mother used to do that as well, the unpredictability, I am very sensitive to that. So she got triggered by me. I got triggered by the fact that she was lashing out. I'm a hypersensitive bitch boy. Sorry, girlfriend. Love you. But yes, I'm just sensitive to those things. So I was getting fed up, and then I decided, yeah, fuck this. No, I didn't. No, it wasn't a. I'm not gonna do anything anymore. It was more of a. We were both frustrated with each other.
Yeah, and when we get frustrated with each other, it only spirals. It's not going to get any better because we don't know because we can't give each other what we need anymore. Because I need you to stay calm and help me out, and what you need from me is to stay calm as well. But I'm not calm because I'm panicking because nothing's happening. So then it just gets worse. It gets worse and gets worse, and that's the triggers keep on coming.
Yes, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so that has happened for us on a lot of occasions because when you have different needs and different perspectives on things, you often just don't feel seen, and not feeling seen can be a trigger for a lot of people.
Definitely for us.
So that's a really big one. I think that's probably one of my biggest triggers is just not feeling seen. I think that's one of the hardest things I've struggled with in my life. It's just not feeling seen, and that can just trigger a lot of emotion out of me.
Do you know why you get triggered by that so hard?
So in my youth, my parents, they would never really they would never really take my needs seriously.
You were neglected.
I was neglected a lot, and I also, because I grew up with like undiagnosed autism, my feelings, my emotions, they were seen as dramatic, and just that I shouldn't be complaining about stuff a lot. And whatever I needed was just pushed aside, and I've had that with friends as well, who would make remarks or assumptions about me, and it would happen all over again by a lot of people. And when that keeps happening your whole youth, eventually every time it happens again, it just makes you feel like so stuck in something.
Yeah.
Because it's been happening my whole youth. And it's really hard to grow up with that when you just don't feel understood and you don't even know who you are and what's going on. You don't know why you feel this much and why you need this much and why you're overwhelmed by everything. But because you don't know, other people also don't know, and they don't always they're not always going to see you, but that's still really hard to go through, not being seen. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it's one of my biggest triggers.
TLDR, parents fucked her up.
That's my parents though. I think a lot of people did. A lot of little effects did.
Yeah, it was a build-up of all these
Yeah.
little things that caused the
Yeah.
eventual result. Yeah, fair. Yeah.
That's like, but yeah. So that's triggers that we go through a lot.
Mm.
And that's, I think it's one of the most often things that happens with us is that I'll get frustrated about something because I don't feel seen by Thijs, for example, or because I think most of the time it's not because you're never not really a cold person or something, but you just sometimes you take distance or you won't really take initiative or you won't really put in
the
effort or something. That can also make me not feel seen, and then I get frustrated and I might lash out in a way. And then that's what triggers Thijs, and then he avoids me more.
Which triggers you more.
And that's what triggers me more because I don't feel seen and I feel avoided and ignored. And then the triggers keep happening and eventually it just explodes. So, yeah. That's what happens in our friendship a lot.
Yes. And we have talks about it. We know it's happening. We have a very long conversation last week.
Yeah.
Which cleared up a lot of points, which was good. Yeah, we trigger each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How much do you think, in what way do you think, and how far can you avoid triggers happening?
Or in your life?
How can you avoid them, or how can you like fix it or be aware of them, or
put in fail safes.
Yeah, so that it happens less.
Yeah.
In friendships, relationships, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say first of all, be mindful of when triggers happen, what's behind it, like why do they happen. Then if you know that, you can put up fail safes. Like, for example, if you know you get triggered by people not meeting your needs, you can try and meet your own needs and try to be independent as possible, for example. If you get triggered by people who shout, for example, might want to stay clear of them. Just avoid the triggers.
Yeah. Or just be like, okay, I'm not going to communicate with you when you're screaming. I'm not going to go into this conversation. I'm just going to walk away now until we can talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've noticed with triggers that it's good to communicate. I tend to bottle things up and then I become cold and distant, which triggers, in this friendship, triggers you more, and then you get more triggered. Therefore, you lash out or share your frustrations.
Yeah.
Therefore, I get triggered, and then I become even more distant and don't communicate. That's 100% my toxic trait. So avoiding it altogether doesn't really help. But if you communicate, especially in the moment you are triggered, it can help the other person as well understand what exactly happens.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you understand why someone's being triggered and how you can trigger someone else. It's also good to be aware of the fact, like, I know I trigger people with the way I react sometimes, or and I'm trying to work on that. I know that when I get frustrated or past I've made assumptions about people that could, you know, trigger someone, or certain words that you use can trigger someone.
Oh,
You know?
yes, words. That's a good one.
Yeah. So we'll get on that later.
Mm.
So there are just a lot of different things that can trigger someone, and sometimes it's something you could be aware of. And sometimes it's just really a personal trigger, and you could not have known that someone would be triggered by that, and then it's their responsibility to talk about it with you.
Exactly, communicate.
Yeah. So triggers are complicated. Like
they are. They're very complicated, and it's difficult because, well, first of all, everyone has different triggers. I think everyone has triggers.
I think everyone has triggers. I think everyone has situations in their life where they feel powerless.
Yes,
so exactly. They go back to that moment.
And where was I going with this?
I don't know.
Yeah, the most important thing is communication.
Yeah, I think it's impossible.
Sorry.
What was I going to say? What else?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes, also the willingness to listen and actually do something with the communication. So
yeah, I was going there.
I can also talk to this fucking tree, but it's not going to help anything because, you know, I'm talking to a tree. And, but if the other person is willing to cooperate, that's important.
Like, you people are not going to change. Like, I have my parents, they know that I get triggered by them screaming, but they still scream. They're not going to do anything about that. I get triggered when they react a certain way. They're not going to change that. I've already talked to them about it. I tell them that it's not really working for me.
Yeah.
When it overwhelms me, they don't listen to that. Not everyone in your life is going to be willing to, you know, help you figure out what your triggers are and how they can help make you feel better or feel safer, and create a better environment for you. Not everyone's going to want that. If you people in life that don't want to like they can't fix everything probably, but if they don't even want to understand your triggers or help in some way that they can, probably not good people to have in your life. Probably not.
Want to rethink your relationship with them,
because that's not good. If people keep triggering you and they don't want to do anything about it.
Exactly.
So you can be like, we can't be responsible for how other people are triggered.
True.
All the time, but there are certain things that you could be more aware of.
Exactly.
So
in the end, we are indeed responsible for our own triggers, and how we deal with them is on us.
Yeah.
We can't change the the environment. However, we can change the scenery. That's the same thing. Hang on.
Environment's doing the same thing. Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like I get triggered by things. And I need to be aware of the fact that when I get triggered, I can lash out, or I can get frustrated. And, you know, give a harsh reaction to people, which is not always nice for people to, you know, deal with. I need to work on that front and just communicate better that I was triggered, so other people can do something with that. I think it's most important.
Yeah. You mentioned a very good point a few minutes ago. Words. What words trigger you? Well, I know them, but...
So for me, triggers can be related to situation that you've been in, where you've heard those. So words that trigger me. For example, so this is with my abandonment issues is the words "too late." I've had people in friendships that would say "too late," because I messed up friendships. I have messed up friendships in my life. Yeah, I've done stupid stuff and made mistakes, and then I would try to make it better and try to get them to stay and try to get them to forgive me, and then they would say, "No, it's too late now," for example. And then, you know, I was like, okay, so too late means for me, people are going to leave. It's over now. Friendship is over. And I still have situations where people will say too late, but it'll be something really innocent. Like, I need them. They ask me if they can get me something from the store, and I'll react a little bit later, and then they'll tell me it's too late. I'm already gone. That could also trigger me, which is really stupid because it's such an innocent situation. But because those words, specific words, have meaning to me, it'll be triggering.
Yeah, you have the association with I'm being abandoned.
Yeah. So that's one that I struggle with.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Dutch
It's just like
thing. It's a shrug
alright.
almost,
Shrug, yeah,
and
shrug. That's the right word.
it's the perfect embodiment of disinterest and non-enthusiasm, and
Yeah,
it triggers the fuck out of me. And I'm sorry for swearing, but
it is
I
triggering. Like I
hate
get it. I have this. Yeah, I get it.
Daddy issues.
It's also like kind of like tone with
Yes.
yeah. It's
This
triggering.
is-
It's like a tone that someone sets
Yeah,
of like not really caring.
exactly. And it's like,
And you
okay, bye.
Yeah, when we feel tones really strongly when they
For
change.
sure. Yes. There was another one. But there you go. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's been a point in our friendship. It's where people go, and
Which is like sure, in a way.
yeah, exactly. And my dad used to do that a lot, so
Yeah.
I immediately get triggered, in the sense of, oh, I'm not being seen or heard. They don't care about me. Never mind. I'll walk away from their life. They don't need me. We're both better off, without each other in our lives.
Yeah.
It triggers a very heavy response. It also causes me to. It's a vulnerable moment. Wow. Ooh. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I feel like it's childish, but I also when I get triggered, especially by those words, I want to self-harm. And it's purely because I don't have control over, I think, people's reactions. That's what I'm guessing. I can't know for sure, but it happens. Triggers are complicated.
So for you, it's when you lose control. That's also a trigger for like self harm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's understandable.
Yes.
That's not weird or childish.
That's
I get
cool.
that. It's a lot of people is when you lose control. That's a way of gaining control back.
Very true.
So, yeah. And a lot of triggers are also related to not having control. So
that's the thing. Wait, I'm not going to generalize here. I have noticed that because I never really had control of my life, I was bullied for years. Then I had a very nasty divorce between my parents. I was never really safe, and I was never really in control. I used to be bullied a lot, like I said. I was that dreamy kid that never hurt a fly. He'd save ants and worms, tackle people to save a spider. Like what?
yeah.
I was passionate about nature and stuff, but people used to bully me for that, and I couldn't do anything because I was pretty small, and they were bigger, stronger, faster. And with the divorce, me and my brother were put in the middle, and used as a bargaining chip to hurt the other parent. And that went on for a couple of years, where every move felt like the wrong one. And I had to choose between parents, but I also got swept under the rug. There was a lot of stuff going on. Later in life, I was also sexually abused a couple of times and stalked, which I also didn't have control over. So
it's a lot of situations.
exactly. Loss of control triggers me. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people with PPD
Haven't had a situation where they lost control. We
exactly.
didn't have any control over the situation.
Yeah.
Because actually, just trauma in general is something that where you don't have control.
Exactly.
Something happens you don't have control over, and it's really extreme and really intense. Creates a really intense emotional reaction, and you don't have control over that situation. And that, in general, when you don't feel like you have control over things.
Yeah, powerlessness does some things to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
People that do struggle with that.
Yes. Is there a... Wait, no, that's a little suggestive. What's a trigger with me that you've noticed that you have not necessarily a problem with, but you find difficult to handle?
Yeah, trigger that you get triggered by, or what?
Yes. What I get triggered by, is there something that you find difficult to either understand or handle?
Well, the thing, I understand why you get triggered. For example, the thing when I get frustrated by when you start avoiding me. So you get triggered by the fact that I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Or that I'm experiencing intense emotions, and when people in your life would have intense emotions, or your parents would, they would be intense and they would be frustrated and stressed, they would lash out to you. So that's what you expect when other people get intense emotions. You expect that to happen. And so when I sometimes just get overwhelmed and stuff, and I get my tone gets a little bit harsh, then I think that freaks you out a bit, and then you tend to avoid me. That's one thing that I get triggered by. So that's, of course, that frustrates me as well. Even though I do understand it.
Yeah. No, fair.
So that's a lot because it just you keep adding up triggers onto each other.
Yeah, like we said in the beginning, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Where we trigger each other.
It's not like that with every trigger, but with these triggers, it does happen like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have a lot of more triggers that I could. I have a list of.
Oh, it's a doggo. Hello, doggo.
There are so many triggers. So So it's just, I think we've had a lot of different triggers, like what other people can do. So when someone ignores you or shows little interest, or someone cancels plans, which also is like showing, being afraid that someone's going to leave.
Yes.
When people know too much or get too close, that's all just scary, because it's just you feel like that's going to go wrong, or just going to get too close, and then they're going to think you're too much, and they're not going to leave, for example.
Exactly.
When someone leaves you on red or dry answers.
Oh, for yeah.
Change different. If someone's just not interested in you anymore, so they're going to leave.
Yep.
Pretty much. Silent treatments, same thing. You feel like someone's just
shutting you out,
hate you, shut you out, and they're going to abandon you. Not being listened to or talked over. Someone just doesn't care about you. Big trigger.
Yeah.
Change the tone of expression. We talked about that one. Dismissiveness, same thing. When someone screams, so we've both had screaming parents in our lives. That's just a big trigger for us. Not being taken seriously.
Yep.
Someone forgetting everything. I don't know if you get triggered by that, but I get triggered by that sometimes.
Surprisingly, no, I don't.
Okay, I get triggered by that.
But I get why you get triggered.
My parents do forget
a lot of
stuff about me a lot. And then it's just it's also because feeling like people don't really care about you.
Exactly.
Losing control. Talk about that one. Judgment, when people judge you.
Oh, good one, yeah.
People assuming things, which also just feels like people don't really are not listening to you. Being excluded, big one. And when someone jokes about abandoning you, I've had friends do that, joking about me not being in their life anymore, or that they're going to leave me. That would really trigger me. I talk about people about this. Some of my friends will, take notice of that and be aware of it and help me, and they stop doing it. Some people do, so sometimes still do that. Now, actually, I think people don't do that anymore now. But I had people do that, which is a lot hard.
Yeah.
We have to talk about words. Then we have different things so this is what people do, but we also have triggers that just happen in our heads by situation we're in. For me, for example, triggers are when I'm in my bedroom for too long, or when I'm sitting still for too long, which is I can both explain both. Is bedrooms is the fact that I feel stuck in a bedroom. When I was younger, I had to be in my bedroom. I was in my bedroom like a lot of the time. I would get home and I would be in my bedroom. But every time I could, hear screams outside of my bedroom from my parents, and I felt like every time I was going to go out of my room, something bad was going to happen.
Mm.
Like I was going to get screamed at, or I was going to get pressured because both my parents would put pressure on me to do certain things a certain way.
Mm.
And when that didn't work, they would freak out at me. I had a lot of fights with my dad, so I stayed in my room, and I felt really stuck in there. So every time I'm in my own bedroom now, even if it's a new bedroom, I still feel really stuck in that bedroom, so I can't stay in it for too long.
Yeah.
Same thing with standing still for too long is just the fact that I get in my head, so I can't be somewhere for like too long alone, because then I get in my head too much. Yeah.
What helps with those triggers?
Well, getting out, not being in my room, so just different sceneries, different things, different activities, distraction. So I do that. That's why I'm always on the road. So just be somewhere else. That's what helps me. Yeah.
Yes, fair. Sorry, I should have specified. I was definitely more talking about the second trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Is that being alone too long? Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
what do you experience?
you have a lot of friends, right?
Yeah.
That
Suppose.
helps. What
They're all busy,
helps you? Yeah, fair. Guilty. Well, it's what helps you in those moments
Um.
where you're alone too long.
Well, I think so. I can be alone. I don't get triggered by that necessarily, because I
Uh-huh.
do things alone. I do a lot of self dates. I go travel by myself.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But
So
when
you're on the move. That
it's
helps.
more, yeah, it's more like if I'm alone too long in an environment, in one environment.
Gotcha.
So if I'm inside somewhere for too long, if I'm outside, I can
Yeah.
be a lot. My mind goes open, and I'm like, there's a whole world outside. I can do whatever I want. It's like freedom, you feel free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's what helps me get out of the
fair.
trigger of being in my head and feeling alone and being stuck in a box or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Being locked up.
Yeah. So do you have any triggers that
Yes.
like that? That's like not people related necessarily.
I do. I sometimes tend to trigger myself with daydreaming, and then I get stuck in a certain situation in my head, a made up situation, and then I get triggered or angry by said situation. Then I get mad at the person in said situation,
Mm-hmm.
which is not fair, because this person has
yeah.
done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I get this one.
Right, and then I tend to have split on them while they haven't done anything wrong, and then it's a little awkward. So,
I think
whoops.
people do this more often. Also, when I hear people like have a dream about someone, and then a friend of theirs does something bad in that dream, and then they actually get bad at that person in real life, which is so unfair. But it's just like you feel betrayed, Yeah, you can make up situations where you just feel betrayed by people.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna get mad at them in real life, which is not fair. So I get that one, which is really. I mean, I get it. It's not really a good thing to trigger yourself with like that, but sometimes it just happens in a way, also. So
yeah, I find it difficult to regulate my emotions, especially when I'm alone. So whenever I get frustrated, I don't just get frustrated. I get mad, like real angry, a disproportionate reaction to a very minor thing. Like, for example, the Wi-Fi isn't working, or I stub my toe. It sucks for a bit, and then afterwards it's like, okay, moving on.
it's a loss of control.
No need to call me out, though. My goodness.
I have to.
Yes, fair. This is yes, very astute observation by my.
But I get that. But that's still situations you're saying that that can just occur by things around you.
Sorry, there was a beast of the skies on your leg. Another situation I get triggered by, or things I get triggered by, is like you said, it's staying in your bedroom for too long. feeling like I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so stuck.
Yeah, being stuck.
Yeah.
Being stuck is a very big trigger, because then my head gets freedom, and that's not supposed to happen.
Good. Yeah, being stuck in your head is not good.
Nope.
When you're stuck in real life, we get stuck in the head.
Yep. And that's when bad things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a really nice thing, but that's why we have fail safes, like getting out there, having as much stuff planned as possible, not being alone for long periods. Well, no.
Yeah.
I like being alone. But it's
also important
situations where there's no what do you call it? No stimulation from outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's when things go wrong.
Yeah. We need stimulation.
Exactly.
And input.
Because that distracts us.
Yeah. Distractions. Yeah.
Exactly. Not to cut things short, but what's the time? Because I know you need to be.
I think we need to shut it off in a bit. Is there anything we still want to add? I think there's still a lot you could say about triggers. Though,
yes, we'll probably make a part two.
Yeah.
But
because we keep.
Yes.
Things.
Yes, but I think for now we've got everything.
So yeah, if you have triggers, try to be aware of them. First of all, try to be aware of them.
Yes, be mindful.
So write them down or something, because I wasn't aware of every single trigger I had. I've only started writing them down about like a few months ago. How many I actually have. I have a lot of triggers. I get a lot of triggers, and I still keep thinking of things I could trigger by. And it gave me a lot of insight and how I react when I get triggered, and that also helps me to gain more control over how I react. Because if I don't know what my triggers are and I don't know how I'm going to react, then I don't know how to gain control back. So I'm aware of my triggers. I try to communicate with people why I get triggered and when I get triggered. People that try to help me to see what they can do, what I can do to make the situation a little bit easier, I guess. And I think it's most important to be aware of triggers, communicate with people what your triggers are and when it's happening, and that it's not personal and it's not always everyone's fault when you get triggered. And it's also not necessarily someone's fault when you lash out because you feel triggered or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do anything to add?
One other trigger, it's part of being, fear of being abandoned, but I get triggered a lot easier when I have an FB, favorite person. Yeah,
so that's kind of like how much more stronger you feel towards someone. Yeah. So with people that you're closer with, it's a lot easier to get triggered. Like the triggers are just a lot more intense.
Yeah, the more they
that's a good one.
Mean for you.
Also good to be aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you've summarized it.
You have any advice for your future self?
Stay calm. Stay calm, cool, and collected.
How are you gonna do that?
I have no idea. But that is my advice for my future self. So if you're listening to this, you got this, buddy. Oh fuck, that's cringe. Okay. We're gonna see you next week. See ya. Take care.